Hello everyone, my name is Valentina. I am a host of Cheat Code Realcast, where we explore secret codes for happy and successful life. And today I want to ask a UI UX designer a question about how to create a successful application, get funding, and to retire earlier and to to have to live happy life. Let's ask him. Hi, Denis.
Hey, hello everyone.
Tell me please if I have some crazy idea in mind and want to create an application. What should I do first?
It's a good question. So first of all, you need to understand if your idea solves anyone's problem.
Okay, and how to do that?
So there are millions of ways how to do that, but the ideal scenario is to go out and talk to your customers.
Should I find them on streets or where? How do you usually do that?
Well, normally if you do have an idea, you probably have some kind of an experience that your idea is based on. It can be access to a special audience, it can be experience from the other previous projects, or maybe an insider information that you have and you can use it freely. And the ideal scenario is that you take that experience, you take that expertise and define the core audience that you want to cater, and marry the idea with the users and try to define do they have, like, which kind of problem does your idea solve, and do they have this problem? Is it real? Is it real and urgent?
Okay, we can maybe take a walk.
Yeah,
and what
definitely.
would be the next steps?
Well, next step is to once you define that this problem is real and urgent, the next step would be to ideate the solution and try to ask your users, will that solution solve their problem? And the ideal scenario would be to test it with real users. But the problem is that nowadays everything has been developed and most of the problems has been solved quite successfully many times. And because of that, it is way harder to sell something than to produce something. And that's why the validation of ideas should be divided into two steps. And the first one is, once you have the access to your audience, if this is your audience, this is perfect. If that's not your audience, you need to cater and partnership with those people or companies who have access to that audience, and validate the idea. You need to package your idea, you need to create some kind of a small demo and validate the demand. And if there is a demand, the ideal scenario would be to get a prepayment. If you have one prepayment, this is good. If you have three prepayments, this is a strong signal to build an MVP. And then you go build an MVP and go to the same users and to new users with the same target audience and test out this idea in a traditional user testing format, so that then you can understand if you solve the problem properly. And once that this is done successfully and you have good feedback from users that they have good experience and their problem is solved with your MVP, then you see what is the best possible technology to employ. And this is where the design stands in, because the design is the way how technology solves users' problems. And technology is now rapidly growing, and the whole world is moved by the new technologies, AI, quantum. Once you've done your MVP, new technology may step in. So the ideal scenario is that once you've validated your idea and you have the way how you solve it, then you just employ the best possible technology that will help you to solve your customer's problem faster and more efficient.
Denis, is it true that you also can an option to go to developers and they can develop you something and you can test it quickly? What do you think about that approach?
Well, this approach worked for many years, especially previously when there was no design invented. But, well, in fact, some people are still doing it, but it doesn't make sense just because you don't need to develop something in order to test it out. It's better not to waste time, because it's always about speed to market. And if you have an idea, if you define it a problem that is relevant and urgent, you need to speed up things very fast. So you have an AI tools that are making prototype quite fast. You have like an AI for everything. And if you have a good designer who can do the proper demo and validate the demand, and then create a clickable prototype and test your idea even before putting the first code line in your product, this is the best possible scenario. It will save you enormous amount of time and money, and you can validate the idea even before you start building it. So once you validated it, then of course you need developers. If you are a tech founder as well, it's better to test it before you put significant amount of time into developing something before you validate it. So validate first, then build.